When I was in boarding school, which is when I was 9 and 10, I had a crush on this girl named Emma. She was British, and she had a brother named and he was my friend. He was one of my best friends. And I had a crush on his sister, and she was a year younger than me, and she was really pretty, and she was really smart. And whenever the report cards would be announced, it was always her and I who had the highest grades, and sometimes it'd be her, sometimes it'd be me, but we were like the two best students in the school. And after I left boarding school, we stayed in touch and we would write letters to each other. And she ended up going to a boarding school in Brighton, England. And at one point, she came to visit Los Angeles when I was about 16. And she was, still beautiful and smart. And I still had a crush on her. And then when I was in college, I decided to travel through Europe one summer with my friend John Levito. And I contacted her and asked her if she wanted to come with us. And she said she did. So it was her brother, and they had this friend named Lord Gosling. He was a lord. And the five of us traveled through Europe. And I had a crush on her still, but she'd just broken up with this drummer from this band called Gong. That was kind of a big deal at the time. And she was kind of like more sexually experienced than I was and kind of more, mature. But we traveled, and after about a week or two traveling and sleeping on beaches in our sleeping bags and stuff, one night we started, we had sex. And I was so happy. And I was like, my dream come true. And for about a week or two, we were just like in love, I guess. I mean, I was. And we would have sex like all night. And I've never been able to replicate that, but I was just so into it and so into her. And it was just like heaven. And she's so stunningly beautiful. I mean, she might be the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. Like every head would turn whenever she walked into a space. And, there'd be like 10 guys would approach like flies. And you'd have to be like fighting them all off all the time. And after that summer ended, I went back to college, and her plan was to come visit me. And I was writing her letters, but she wasn't writing back. And I didn't know why she wouldn't be writing me back. And I thought maybe she's just planning to surprise me. And one day I'm going to come home to my apartment and she's going to be there in my bed. And I would come home every night and I would turn the lights on, expecting to see her. And, she was never there. And then a couple of years later, I was in England to visit James Joyce's daughter. And I called Emma and I told her I was in England and I was going to visit James Joyce's daughter the next day, but did she want to get together while I was there? And she said, yeah, come right now, come right away. And I said, yeah, but I'm visiting James Joyce's daughter tomorrow. She said, well, cancel it, just come. So I was like, okay, I will. And I just went to see her instead. And when I got there, she said to me, I hope my boyfriend doesn't mind you staying with us for the night, but he might. And I was like, you have a boyfriend? She said, yeah, he's a chef. He'll be home soon. Don't worry, he's a nice guy. And so we kind of hang out, and the boyfriend comes home, and he immediately starts kind of yelling at me. And he tells me that I'm not welcome there and to leave. And I say to Emma, can you talk to him? Like, what's going on? I thought you wanted me to stay here. I came here to be with you, and I left my friends. I don't know where to go. They're supposed to meet me here in a few days. And she said, it's not my problem. And then the guy got like a knife, like a butcher knife. And he's like, get out of my apartment. Get out. I said, Emma, can you do something? And she said, sorry, he wants you out. And she basically shut the door in my face. And I was just like, oh my God, like, this is the person I've been in love with my whole life. And then a few years went by, and I reached out to her again when I was in England. And she wrote back once to ask me to visit her brother, who had become mentally ill and had no friends. And I didn't. I just wanted to see her, really. And then every time I go to England, I would reach out to her and she would never respond.